We got Josh.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, I'll be here for a few minutes, but I think Dan's got everything taken care of.
Yeah, I just started the meeting, guys.
oh, good, and you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you just
Perfect.
fine. Yep.
Okay, well, there you go. Because that's good that you heard, because in case we run into a hiccup and you hear us, you hear cues from Reed.
Mm.
Okay, sweet.
But you
Okay.
wanted to wait, start the meeting until, because now anyone who joins can hear us.
I thought they can't hear us until we accept them. I mean, until we,
Until we admit them, yeah.
Until we admit them.
yeah.
But did it before was we waited, we admitted everyone and then they heard like waiting music. And then we could start the meeting and then,
Oh, okay.
because everyone,
Do you-
I don't think it matters. You can just wait to admit people.
We can just wait, yeah, it's fine.
And we'll let,
That's the only thing,
Dan-
all of this is being.
yeah, Dan, yeah. And Daniel, you will have total control over all of that.
Yeah.
Admitting people in and yeah, so that way.
Yeah, he's got.
Perfect.
control of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So that way Reed doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Oh, this one.
You see the rooster that somebody had on the barrier?
Sorry.
Did you see the rooster that somebody had on the barrier at the flood?
No, yeah, yeah.
Rooster.
Oh.
The people.
Yeah, what I do, first thing I do in the morning is check in, and then after I check in the morning, I drop everything, and then of course, when I go home, I do, so obviously today I'm not gonna be able to do my round. My sister's house is on G Street where, so.
Should the people, at least on the barrier have a sense of humor about it? There's also a gnome on the barrier.
Well, I'm gonna go walk down there a bunch. Like,
I'm with you. If you let me know when you go.
Hey,
Took your spot.
oh, I didn't have a spot. I just threw my stuff down.
Yeah.
Whatever. My
My
head's poking.
my chin will be right on the table.
He's in.
you want me to take the southern, southeast of the Verdian, they're.
I was gonna put it between 4A and B. Vote that one.
I remember why we wanted to start the meeting. It's because it starts the recording as soon as you start to.
Right after.
Yeah, I saw that.
See if Rick's into it.
Then tried to call me. I guess he was testing it
Yeah,
and it said,
good.
start recording.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I knew that's exactly what he was doing. Testing.
Yeah, so all of this is being recorded right now, just so you guys know.
Officially for the record, 10 a.m. I sure don't miss going through the rulers and. Yeah, flip this.
I'll get to do that this time. I get all cross-eyed.
Mhm.
The river's going down now.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Everyone wear their Hawaiian shirts out there.
Okay.
Okay,
Morning, morning.
another one.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of
What's the joke? Does it have a joke too?
this one. They all have jokes.
Yeah.
This one is interesting. What's the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament live stream?
Live stream?
Live,
Live stream.
live fishing,
Yeah.
live stream.
Yeah. Okay.
The other one was, why did the fisherman went back to school?
You guys are on, you muted your microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like one or two.
Well, I think we can get started then if we don't have it. Shall we jump in? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll shut the
Sally.
air here. Hey, good morning. My name is Glenn Haight, Commissioner and Chair of the Commercial Fisheries Entry Commission. We'll refer to that as CFEC or the Commission throughout this meeting. Today is August 13th, 2025, and the time is roughly 10 a.m. This meeting is conducted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Alaska Statute 44-62-310. There is a meeting notice sent to interested parties, posted on the Alaska Online Public Notice System and our website. We are conducting the meeting at the CFEC offices here in Juneau. We have staff here in the room and also participating via Teams video conference. For anyone attending in person, they would be here in the office. We've also made available a listen-only phone number for interested folks. We are here today to establish fees for the 2026 permit renewal. Before going further, I'd like to make a few introductions and Reed, is it possible to pop them back up? Yep, I appreciate it. First, I will turn to Commissioner Green for the love.
Yeah, thank you. I am Commissioner Rick Green with the Commercial Fisheries Entry Commission and have been on the commission for a little over a year, and this will be my second fee meeting. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I'll just say around the room, we've got Suzanne Ronfeld here, our licensing
Hello.
advisor, Maylene Monkey, our executive director,
Welcome, everyone.
Reed Johnson, head of research.
Good morning.
Kindly Josh Sanders, making sure that the tech works. Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
We've got Jennifer Finley, law specialist.
Morning.
Online. Morning. Sally Colhase, research extraordinaire. And Dan Strong, who's facilitating and moderating the meeting. Thanks, Dan, for doing that. Appreciate it. Let's see, I'm to review the agenda. That's what it says on the agenda. We'll be discussing quickly the authorities. Then Reed's going to give a presentation, and I think we'll get into subject specific issues that will require a vote from the Commissioner Green and I, and Reed's going to lead us through all of that. And then the fifth thing on the agenda is discuss some of the informative memos. And I just quickly thank you, Reed, for getting, and Sally, but for getting all this stuff to us so quickly, because this is critical to get the licensing system turned around for 2026. It's a big deal. Let's see, and when items do require a vote, we'll turn to Ms. Finley to lead us through that. If I could, though, I'd like to do one change to the agenda. I'd like to add in between 4A and B a discussion about the southeast sablefish limited entry permit renewal fees. So I'm gonna, if that's okay, add that in there. like to discuss it, maybe make a motion to make a change. Okay, quick thing on authorities. Let's see, we're here to establish these fees for 2026. This is an annual task of the commission. We were guided in this matter in statute. It is AS 1643-100, which is duties and purposes. Simply says under A13, it reads, the commission shall establish and administer the collection of the annual fees provided for in AS 1643-160. And in 160, it provides more guidance, including a minimum maximum permit fee amount and some poverty fee guidelines. The commission wrote more granular instructions in 20 AAC 05245, schedule of annual fees. And prominent in these regulations, there is the formula we use for setting fees. It's 0.4%, basically 0.4% of permit value for limited entry fisheries, or 0.4% of average gross earnings by permit for the last 3 years in interim use permitted fisheries. I know Reed's going to go into more detail on this. It also gives the ability for the commission to veer from the formula for special circumstances, provides fee classes for rounding purposes, and provides an exception for IFQ harvesters with low poundage. Ms. Finley, did I miss any amazing authorities that you could think of there?
I would add 1643-040 about having the quorum for making decisions and exercising the powers of the commission.
Great, thank you for that. That's a good one. Appreciate it. Okay, with that, I think we're ready to jump into item 3 and read. If I could turn it over to you, Mr. Johnson, for.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, my name is Reed Johnson, and I am the Research and Planning Section Supervisor here at the Commercial Fisheries Entry Commission. The title picture this year is from a Kodiak setnet operation taking this 2025 summer fishing season by Michelle Stratton and Hannah Heimbach. Over the course of this presentation, I will be going over how fees are calculated, what the projections are for revenue for the next year, and the reasons why commissioners must need to set specific fees. This presentation can be viewed online using the Alaska Online Public Notice System. The website address for the online public notice system is aws.state.ak.us/online public notices, all one word. The title of this meeting is CFEC Administration Meeting, and searching by title is the quickest way to find this information using the online public notice system. So CFEC permit fees are set according to an equation defined in regulation. That regulation is 20 AAC 05245. This regulation states that fees for limited entry permits are 0.4% of the estimated value of the entry permit. If the fishery is open access, then the fees are set to be 0.4% of the average gross earnings over the last 3 years of available information. And in some cases, we have to go back quite a few years to get 3 years of available information. In most cases, these equations work to set reasonable fees for the CFEC permit types that we issue. However, there are times when we must depart from those equations. Fees are always rounded to the nearest multiple of $75, and they are capped at $3,000. 20 AAC 05245 allows the commissioners to make changes to set fees using alternative methods when one of two things occur. The first thing is when more than one permit type allows the direct harvest of the same species with the same gear in the same area, or if there's overlap in the area between two permits that have the same gear and are harvesting the same species. The second condition is when the strict application of the equation results in an annual fee that isn't really appropriate in light of the economic rate of return for that permit type. So in other words, often this happens when we have a fee that is set to be high, considering what we think the average income is going to be, what the average earnings is going to be for that specific permit type. When a departure for a fee is warranted, it falls upon research staff to produce an alternative fee and document how that fee was calculated. These fees are presented to the commissioners, which is what we're doing at this meeting, and then they decide whether or not they are going to adopt that fee or modify that fee using other methods. Departures from the equations described in 20 AAC 05245 will be discussed after going over projected revenue estimates from permit and vessel license fees. So this first table, table 1, shows the fee classes ranked 1 through 40, the base fee and the estimated permit renewals, as well as estimated revenue from each permit fee class. Our projected revenue for 2026 is $5.3 million, which includes $420,000 from non-resident renewals. The fee for non-resident permit renewals is determined every 4 years by the OMB and is already set for the 2025 through 2028 calendar years. This fee is known as the Carlson differential. The Carlson differential is $160 per person through 2028. Permit renewals are based upon a weighted average of permit renewals over the last 3 years. These are, of course, only estimates. However, the majority of our revenue is generated from limited entry permit types, meaning that the number of those permits don't change. So these projections are usually pretty spot on. So for example, in 2024, we predicted a total revenue from fees to be $6 million, with $500,000 in Carlson differential fees for a total prediction of $6,555,000. In 2024, we actually generated $6,532,000. So we were off by about $20,000 in our prediction. This does include the Carlson differential. So like I said, we're usually pretty spot on. And we have a high level of certainty when it comes to the amount of revenue that is going to be generated from Carlson fees and permit fees. Our 2025 prediction was $5.1 million in permit fees, with $424,000 in Carlson differential generated for a total of $5.6 million in estimated revenue. So far, for all 2025 permits, this present calendar year, we've collected $4.6 million in non-resident fees and $360,000 in differential fees for about $5 million total. So we're on track to hit that $5.6 million mark. Fees collected drop off sharply in July and August after the salmon fishing season starts. May is when we generate the majority of our fees. There's also an uptick in fees collected at the end of the calendar year for the winter fisheries. However, a lot of people have already renewed their permit fees at that time, and a lot of what they are renewing is for the next calendar year. So in November and December, once we roll over, people are going to start renewing for 2026. July and August are typically low months that get about $100,000 in fees collected. November and December can generate about $1 million together, but again, a lot of that is for the next calendar year. Something to point out is that fees collected have been steadily trending downward over the last couple of years. It's not really a secret that fisheries aren't generating as much revenue as they used to. And although we are seeing some changes in that trend, right now there are some salmon fisheries that are actually going up in their yearly permit fees because the value of those permits has been going up. Our estimated $4.9 million in permit revenue for 2026 is still somewhat lower than our 2025 prediction of $5.1 million, but it's not decreasing as fast as it was in previous years. This next table, table 2, shows the fees by permit type that have decreased over the last year. So salmon permit fees are still declining in some fisheries, but not as much as previous years. Some salmon permit fees have actually increased, which we will see in the next table. Previous years coming off of COVID, which has been sort of a slow-moving beast, we're faced with high inventory due to just a lack of market. A lot of restaurants closed, so there wasn't a demand for it, and there was high inventory due to a lot of really good salmon returns happening in Bristol Bay. Both those factors combined to have a fairly low salmon price over the last couple of years. This last season, 2025, there wasn't any inventory on the market from previous years, and that's translated into a better price for people who are selling their fish, a better ex-vessel value. So salmon prices have been bolstered this season by that. Sable fish prices have fallen, which we see in this table, which is showing the reduced fees. We see a lot of sable fish permits are included. Sable fish prices have decreased drastically over the last 10 years, and I hear rumors that they are continuing to decrease this year. I don't have any access to any current fish ticket data. I don't have access to federal fish ticket data at this time. Halibut prices have remained somewhat stable. Some of them have gone down, some of them have gone up, but the majority of halibut permit fees have remained unchanged this year. This table shows the permit fees that have increased over the last year. So some fees have increased since 2025. The major fisheries where the fees have increased are the trawl fisheries and the Bristol Bay and Cook Inlet salmon fisheries. Tanner and pot fisheries in Kodiak and on the Alaska Peninsula have also increased, and CDQ fisheries have also increased for king crab fisheries. The biggest increase in revenue is from Bristol Bay. Something that I should point out, Bristol Bay is a large fishery. There are a lot of permits in it, 1,862 permits on average. Due to the size of the fishery and the activity in the permit market, those permits are bought and sold often. Bristol Bay tends to exhibit changes in the way the markets are working much quicker than other fisheries that just don't have as many permits and there isn't as much permit activity. Okay, so now that we've gone over permit fees, it's time to address vessel license fees. Each year, vessels used for commercial fishing in Alaska must pay for a license. The cost of this license scales with the vessel length. Most fees are paid in the 25 to 50 foot vessel length class. We expect about $500,000 to be generated in revenue from vessel fees. This brings the total revenue generated from permit fees, the Carlson differential, and vessel fees to $5.8 billion. Fishing vessels in Alaska are specialized in nature. They don't often enter or exit a fishery. A vessel that's set up to fish in Bristol Bay probably isn't the right type of vessel that would participate in Prince William Sound or Area N, for example. So they don't change fisheries often. However, the owners of fishing vessels aren't really under an obligation to renew their vessel license if they're not going to fish in a given year, while they do have to renew their permit fees if it's a limited entry year. So our confidence in these predictions isn't as high as it is for the permit fees, but it's still pretty high. So yeah, all these three together brings our total predicted revenue to 5.8 million. So this concludes the presentation about how fees are generated and projections for 2026. And at this point, I usually stop, pause for questions from the commissioners.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Reed. Mr. Green, do you have any questions? Reed?
No, I thank you, Reed, for good comprehensive report.
Thanks. Thank you. You answered my question, vessel fees. So we're looking at 5.8 on the high side. It's 6.3 is our projected for 2025. 6.3 million.
I want to say 6.1. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Good information to know because we need to let OMB know once we meet with them. So that's good to have. Does anyone else have questions for Reed? Okay, great. Thanks. The agenda here. All right. Did you were going to hit each one of these?
Yeah, I'll
Separately,
each
Vishnu?
one. Yep, as
Okay.
we go.
Great. I think we're on section 4 of the agenda.
Okay, so now we're at the point where we discuss individual fee modifications, departures from the agreements. The first one that we will be discussing is the calculation of the fees for the Southern Southeast Sablefish Longline and pot equal quota share permits. These permits allow the harvest of sablefish in an equal quota share fishery in Southeast Alaska using either pot gear or longline gear. All permit holders in this fishery, no matter the gear type, are allowed to harvest an equal amount of sablefish available in any given year. Therefore, the potential earnings of both the C91C, which is the pot gear permit, and the C61C, which is a longline permit, should be the same, and they should have the same value. This fishery is limited. Permits may be traded on an open market. Many permit transactions have occurred for the longline permit, the C61C permit. But there are not enough transactions that have occurred for the C91C permit in order for us to be able to come up with a permit value. This means that we can calculate a permit fee based upon the permit value for the C61C permit, but using the strict application of the regulations. In this situation, we are supposed to use the average gross earnings to come up with a fee when there is no permit value data available. Doing this, we end up with a fee for the C91C permit, which was $300 based upon the average gross earnings. This $300 fee is from the strict interpretation of the regulations. Again, the calculated permit fee for C61C is $1,650. And as the earning potential of both permits is the same, it is our recommendation that the C91C permit fee be set equal to the C61C permit. This is an adjustment that has occurred since 2015, and we haven't received any complaints to date. To the chair, I believe you wanted to have additional discussion on this.
You know what, on this one, I think my thought is just vote on this one, and then if there's modifications afterwards, we could vote on the modifications afterwards. So, yeah, questions, Commissioner Green?
No question. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, thanks. And I have one question. I'm pretty sure all of these are, I mean, with the long line permit, they can use pots now too. So everyone's probably, I would just be curious, doesn't matter here, but curious how many of them are switched entirely to pots.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Is that
I think there is a set time that fishing game set that separates when they can pot and when they can long line.
okay?
And I think pot is during the fall season.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, I would, Commissioner Green, entertain a motion to adopt the recommendation if you wish.
Absolutely. I'll make a motion to adopt the recommendation of the research department to continue the policy of both fisheries paying the same fee for this EQS fishery.
Second that. And any discussion on that?
No, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I would like to point out, I don't think, while the longliners can sometimes use pot gear, I don't think the pot gear can use long line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for that. I don't have any further discussion and entertain a question. Or I'd entertain the question.
Yeah. Call the question.
Okay, questions are, roll call, please, Ms. Finley.
All right, on the motion to accept the recommendation of the research section regarding fees in this fishery, Commissioner Haight
Yes.
and Commissioner Green?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks. Great. So yeah, I kind of do that just to kind of get it at 650. And then if I could, I'd like to see if Commissioner Green would entertain another motion and then have discussion, knowing the motion does not mean concurrence. Commissioner Green, but I think maybe if we got it on the table, then the discussion come with the motion, and that would be to change the permit fee for the three permits in question here. These are the southeast sablefish, both the northern sablefish and the southern sablefish, and both pot and longline, to change the permit fee to a fee class 13, which is $975. And so I'd be curious.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt that. Yes.
Okay, thanks. I'll second that. And then I recognize, again, it's just to get it on the table for discussion. So, we've received a few calls from people about this high fee, and I think that's reasonable. It is, these fisheries, again, it's C61C, C91C, and C61A. They're the most expensive permits we have. Why? I mean, I've talked to Mr. Johnson about that. There's not many permits. They're equal quota share permits, and that's what makes them attractive. I mean, they are of significant value, and so they generate a really high permit renewal fee. But they do have relatively modest earnings, and which usually in a given year it may not be too critical, but given that the fishery isn't doing great, it shines a spotlight on it. So in some of these fisheries, these open access fisheries, we're basically charging half a percentage point for a permit, 0.4, half percentage of their gross. In this one, the net effect now with the For the northern southeast, the permit is $1,800, and in the southern southeast, it's $1,650. So the earnings for in the northern, sorry, I'm gonna throw a lot of numbers at you guys. And the northern southeast sailfish longline is about $55,000. So that permit fee of $1,800 is about 3.3% of their gross. Typically, we're charging anywhere like 0.4 or so of their gross. In this fishery, it's over 3% of their gross is going to pay for a permit. And in the southern southeast one, it's the percentage of fee to gross is about 2.5. I was curious about how this compares with some of our other limited entry fisheries. And there are two where the percentage fee to gross earnings is higher. That's in the urchin dive fishery and in the North Sound salmon fishery. But in both of those fisheries, they're already getting charged the minimum fee of $75. So we can't charge less for that. But next in line are these two fisheries. There are 6 other fisheries where we're charging more than 1% of the gross as a permit fee. 2 of them, and they're sablefish fisheries, many of them, but 2 of them are at $75. 2 are at $150. Really, the only one I think is somewhat comparable to this, but I'm not interested in dealing with it today is the Brown King and Tanner Pot fishery in Southeast. It has a permit fee of $825. And so we're collecting just about 1% over its gross earnings. So I looked at other limited entry fisheries. Well, in the statewide sablefish fishery, which is not limited entry, in the longline fishery, the average earnings are about $102,000, and their permit fee is in the $400 range. The pot fishery, 60 feet and over, their average gross earnings is $424,000. So almost 5 times what you see in these southeast fisheries, and the permit fee is about the same. It's a big difference. In our limited entry fisheries, the typical ones we look at, Bristol Bay Drift, interestingly, the permit fee of $600 is about 0.4% of their gross. That's right on. Kind of interesting. I looked at Southeast purse seine, they're paying about 0.2%. So their permit fee based on their permit value is much lower than what it would be if it was looked at gross earnings. Troll is the same thing, power troll. I looked at Southeast Dungeness 300 pot, and theirs is a bit higher, but still under 1%. And looked at Gooey Ducks dive fishery in Southeast, they're at about 0.5%. So it seems like most limited entry fisheries that we have, the permit values are floating around that 0.4. Pretty close. So with that, I just want to do it for 1 year, but given the low price, I thought it was appropriate to take a look at lowering this. Those are still very valuable permits, so I could see why would the fee could be higher. So my recommendation on this fee class of 13 is basically just to split the difference and set it somewhere in the middle. So it's still over 1% of their gross, but it's not the higher numbers. So that's what I had for you, Commissioner, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, certainly we want to remain competitive and get our opportunity to get out and catch fish without having the onus of the permits getting in the way of that. And I think your search is good. I think your logic is sound. And with the decreasing price of sablefish, I think that this is going to get less and less attractive if it continues to be one of the biggest permit fees we have.
No, and I would just clarify that it would be just for this year, of course, and I'm not suggesting that that we go through it every year, but I just wanted to thought this year might be appropriate.
Yeah, would you like to entertain a motion on adopting that?
I think you amend the motion to
Amend?
make
Yeah.
clarify for this year. Okay, sure.
Yeah, all right, I'll make a motion to amend the adopted fee to, just for this 1 year, to reflect the split difference, referenced by Commissioner Haight.
Thank you. I'll second that. And if there's no more discussion, we can call the question.
Yep, call the question.
And questions heard. Ms. Finley, roll call, please.
Am I doing the roll call for the original motion or for the amendment?
Motion is the amendment, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so on the motion to amend the adopted fee for the sablefish to split the difference. I don't know if you need a specific amount for that or a specific percentage.
I think we're just voting to have it be for 1 year.
Okay, so for just this next year, 2026,
Yep.
on that motion, Commissioner Haight?
Yep.
And Commissioner Green?
Yes.
That is
Yeah,
passed.
thank you for that clarification. And I'll now do a question on the main motion as amended.
Okay, on the main motion, the original motion to set fees for the C61C, C91C, and C61A as amended. Commissioner Haight
Yes.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Ms. Finley. Thanks for the diversion. Great.
Good. I just want to comment, Glenn, way to go on doing the research and the deep dive. That was really serving our constituency nicely. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Hopefully it helps a little bit.
I do too.
It's a great resource. Sablefish is delicious.
That it
Had
is.
someone yesterday
Did you?
asking about the fee.
You'd had some folks asking.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will help a little. It's not great, but yeah. Well, thank you. Maybe we'll get back on track with the 4B, Mr. Johnson.
So the next fee modifications that we need to discuss are the calculations for the halibut and sablefish fisheries, which we do because of the low quota regulations. By regulation, fees for individuals that own less than 9,000 pounds of sablefish quota or 8,000 pounds of halibut quota are set to be $75. Individuals that own more than that amount pay the full permit fee. In 2014, CFEC began calculating the permit fee for low quota permit holders and for individuals who own more than the low quota amount separately. So we basically started treating them as two completely separate permit types. CFEC commissioners voted to do this in the past because to do otherwise would be to effectively subsidize both the low quota permit holders as well as the regular quota permit holders. Continuing this practice means that we are effectively increasing the fees for the regular permit holders, the people who are not low quota permit holders, by removing low quota permit holders from the equation when it comes to calculating their fee. In other words, this prevents halibut and sablefish quota owners from benefiting from the reduced earnings of low quota permit holders if they are not themselves low quota permit holders. Table 1 shows that the low quota fee for sablefish and halibut is fair, as even if we follow the strict interpretation of the regulation, the fee would still evaluate to $75. Low quota permit holders all generate significantly less revenue than the $28,000 in gross revenue that is needed for the fee to evaluate to the next highest fee class. Calculating low quota and regular quota permit holder fees separately results in fees that are shown in Table 2, which are the proposed fees. These are more expensive than what is shown in Table 3, which follows the strict interpretation of the regulation. To the chair, I am open for questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Green.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and no, I appreciate that. Rita, I think I understand it better than I had before. So, yeah, sometimes I go around in circles with this one, but thank you. Well, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this recommendation.
Yeah, I'll make a official motion to adopt the fees described in Table 2 of this presentation.
I second that. Yeah, discussion.
Yeah, no, it all seems to make sense, and rather than not count one section, which benefits that section and not the other section. I think this is much more fair and equitable.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree. I wish we could somehow do something different with these, with how to establish IFQ, but we're sort of, I think this is where we're currently at, until someone from the public wants to petition us to do it, to try to do it some different and if they can provide some ideas on how to do it, I'd be great too. But other than that,
And I'll add that we're always open to that kind of stuff.
thank you. Is there a question?
Nope.
Question to me. Okay.
Call the question.
Yeah, call, and the question's been heard. Ms. Finley, roll call, please.
On the motion to adopt the recommended fees in table 2 of the memo, in this fishery, Commissioner Haight
Yes.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes.
All right, and the motion's passed.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, for C, please.
Okay, so the next fee adjustment that we need to discuss are adjustments for vessel size and harvest capacity. These are adjustments that we make every year. The commission, as a reminder, the commission may modify permit fees when multiple permit types allow for the harvest of the same species, area, and gear type combination. This can happen in one of two ways. Either we have two permits that overlap in area, which is what happens when we have the Gulf of Alaska permits and the statewide permits. So people who buy a statewide permit can fish in the Gulf of Alaska, but people who buy Gulf of Alaska permits are not allowed to fish places other than the Gulf of Alaska. This also happens when we have size differentials in fisheries. So when we have a separate permit issued for vessels under 58 feet is our typical cutoff length, or under 60 feet, and then another permit for vessels over 60 feet in length. So when this happens, there's overlap based upon two permits being able to harvest the same thing. They differ only in vessel size. So the first one that we're going to address here is a limited entry fishery. It is the Prince William Sound sablefish fishery, and the fee that we need to discuss is the C5AE permit type. There are four permits issued in the Prince William Sound sablefish fishery. There is no estimated permit type for the C5AE permit, which is the largest permit type by vessel size, because there are no reported sales. We can't use permit value to define what the fee is, and instead must use average gross earnings. Using average gross earnings over the last 3 years results in a fee that is only $75, which is significantly less than all the other permit fees for this fishery. So it's our recommendation that the fee for the largest vessel category in the Prince William Sound sablefish fishery be set equal to the fee for the permit for the next largest vessel class, which is $300. Next, we need to discuss the Chignik Dungeness pot fishery, the Norton Sound king pot fishery, the statewide and Gulf of Alaska miscellaneous saltwater finfish, longline fisheries, and the Dutch Harbor Tanner pot fisheries. All of these fisheries are open access and all have permit types that, when calculated with the strict application of the regulatory rules, results in fees for larger vessels that are smaller than the fees for the smaller vessels. When this has occurred in the past, CFEC has calculated the permit fees for these permit types by including all of the permits for a particular species, area, and gear type combination together, instead of treating them as two separate and distinct permits. For example, in Norton Sound, using this method to calculate the fee results in an average gross earnings of $96,820, split among 98 permits, which ends up with a calculated fee of $375 for each of those 98 permits. So they are all paying the same fee in this situation. It's our recommendation that we continue to follow this capacity adjustment for the Chignik Dungeness pot permits, Norton Sound king pot permits, the Gulf of Alaska and statewide longline permits, the miscellaneous saltwater finfish pot gear permits, and also the Dutch Harbor Tanner pot permits. And one final thing to note is that it is possible for somebody who owns a vessel under 60 feet in length to pay for a permit that is for vessels over 60 feet in length. It would be legal for them to use that permit on their vessel. However, the converse is not true. If somebody was to own a vessel that was over 60 feet in length, they would not be able to purchase a permit for a vessel that is under 60 feet in length and be able to use that to legally go fishing. So in this situation, it would be possible for somebody to own a large vessel and, to own a small vessel and then pay the reduced fee for the larger vessel. So for example, in Chignik, they would pay $150 for a D91L permit instead of $350 for a D09L permit, to the chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you know what I should have done probably before we start each one of these is make the motion in advance. But
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
do that.
then let,
Yeah, Commissioner Green, can I get you? to
Yeah.
make a motion?
Yep, absolutely. I'll make the motion to adopt the permit fee adjustments described in table 1 of this memo.
Thank you. I'll second that. You had questions or discussion, Commissioner Green?
No, I think it's just important to point out that the smaller vessels can operate under the permit of a larger vessel, but the vice versa is not true. So it gives some leeway and the new that we probably should close.
Thank you. Yes, that's a couple of years ago, I had moved to not do this for just the miscellaneous saltwater finfish fishery, the pot fishery. But it was pointed out to me that those smaller vessels could then get the larger vessel permit and have cost advantage there. So that was counter to my intent on that previously. So I'm comfortable with this as well, and call the question.
Yeah.
Okay, on the motion to adopt the permit fee adjustments in table 1 of the memo, Commissioner Haight
Yes.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Okay. Let's try this again before we start. 4D.
Yep.
Maybe Commissioner Green, I'd ask you to make a motion to adopt the recommendations, and then we hear the report and have some discussion.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I will make a motion concerning the Kodiak food and bait permits to adopt the table 2 recommendations on that fishery.
Thank you. I'll second that. Mr. Johnson.
Okay, so the Kodiak food and bait herring fishery has operated under a cooperative combine structure since 2002, where permit holders voluntarily limited effort to ensure the fishery could be prosecuted within a small guideline harvest level. So due to this in the past, CFEC has set the fees to be equal for all of the permit holders. However, this has recently changed. At the 2024 Board of Fish meeting, the guideline harvest level was effectively doubled, which eliminated the need for a single vessel harvest strategy, which was a requirement before set by Fish and Game. They made it clear that if more than one vessel was harvesting the resource at a time, they might overshoot the guideline harvest level, so they wouldn't be able to open the fishery if more than one vessel was harvesting at a time. Because the GHL was effectively doubled, that's no longer a concern. And so there's no longer a biological or regulatory basis to continue modifying the fees as a block like we have done in the past. So despite the lack of requiring just one vessel to harvest at a time, there are still some caveats to being able to calculate permit fees for the herring food and bait fisheries. No harvests have occurred under the trawl permits since limitation. And there has been limited market activity, which prevents a fee from being set using permit valuation methods. So we don't have any gross earnings data, and we don't have any permit value data to set the fees with. However, we can use historical data from the H07K harvests, which were the permit types that were issued before limitation. And then apportion those harvests among the vessels that participated in that fishery based upon their vessel lengths, with those lengths matching up to the vessel length restrictions for our modern day limited entry permits. This leads to a recommended fee of $75 for all the trawl permit types. I should also point out that there was a capacity adjustment that did have to take place in order for this fee to be calculated, and that happened for the H7BK and H7CK permits. And also I want to note that traditionally in the past, when there has been no information available for a new permit type, and this isn't exactly a new permit type, it's over 20 years old. If no harvest had occurred before, CFEC has in the past opted to set the fee to be set at $75. So I think there's a lot of good justification for setting the fee to $75 for these permit types, to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Questions or discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Green?
Yeah, so if and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with the new GHL. Next, just looking forward to next year, maybe not even concerning this year as much. We will have, if they prosecute a fishery, we will likely have much better data to do any calculations we need to after this year.
Yes, although we are likely going to have to take this issue up for the next 3 years, because we do need 3 years of available data.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have no more questions.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just, my question, I think I've answered it, was last year, the $300 is the permit fee, at least for 2025. Does that sound right? I've got it. I found it in your tables here, so.
Off the top of my head, for some reason, I recall it being $150.
Okay.
But,
I was just curious.
I'd have to go back to review that.
Not a huge deal. Yeah, okay.
50, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, yeah, we just don't know if these folks are gonna fish yet, but we think Fish and Game could let them if they got a vessel.
Fishing game is, if they got a vessel, yeah, they're not requiring a single vessel harvest strategy anymore.
We shall see. And then, this is a different subject, but it sounds like the regs went through from the Board of Fish meeting. That they're now, they got the passing law, so they didn't find that there was a problem with moving the herring roe fishery to the fall on top of this fishery.
I have not heard.
Yeah,
from
I have
so I'm assuming it's okay with them.
It went through, didn't violate the limit. Okay. So as a departure from the subject. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did
And
you call the question?
yeah, question's been heard. Ms. Finley, roll call, please.
All right, on the motion to adopt the table 2 recommendations in the memo for the Kodiak food and bait fishery, Commissioner Haight
Yes, please.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes, please.
All right, it has passed.
All right, thank you. Moving on to 4E, can I hear a motion on that, Commissioner Green?
Yeah, we'll make a motion to adopt the fees in the suggested fees in the memo concerning this fishery. That's Alaska king crab and Tanner crab fisheries.
Southeast King and Tanner, second that. Mr. Johnson?
Okay, so the Southeast king crab and Tanner crab permit fees. The red and blue king crab season in Southeast Alaska has been closed over the last couple of years. The department has not yet announced if the fishery will be open or closed for the 25 and 26 winter season. They are still conducting biological surveys, and they will be announcing that decision in September. We do need some discussion of the different permit types in Southeast Alaska for crab. So this is sort of a unique fishery. These permits are not issued just for a single fishery. There are actually, say, 7 different permit types. The K19A permit allows one to harvest red or blue king crab, which are two distinct species, but they overlap significantly in area and where they breed and where they congregate, so you can't really manage them separately. The K39 permit allows one to harvest brown king crab, also known as golden king crab. In addition, there is also the T19A permit, which allows somebody to harvest tanner crab using, and these are all POP permits. There are an additional 4 permit types which allow an individual to harvest combinations of these 3 species. So for example, the K69A permit allows an individual to harvest red, blue, brown, and tanner crab under 1 permit. In the past, when the red and blue king crab fishery has been closed, CFEC has set the fee for the K19A permit, which is what allows someone to harvest red and blue king crab, to be 0. So they've effectively waived that fee, and they also decreased the fee for the other permit types, but that allow the harvest of red and blue king crab by that same amount, so $225. So for example, the fee for the K69E permit is $900, and that would be reduced by $225. We can't really recommend that this be done this year because there has not been an announcement as to whether or not this fishery will be closed. There have also been changes which occurred at last year's Board of Fish meeting in 2024, where regulations were passed that lowered the threshold for opening this fishery. These regulations do make it more likely that the fishery will be opened and prosecuted. However, it's not a guarantee. So if these regulations had been in effect in 2024, the fishery would still have been closed. It would not have opened even under these new regulations. So for right now, the recommendation is that the fees remain unmodified, and that perhaps we'll meet again and vote, and the commissioners decide whether or not they want to modify them after the department has announced their decision. One thing that I want to point out is that this is a fishery that spans the winter, so 2025 and 2026 season, and these fees have already been waived for the 2025 season. It makes sense because people who own that K69 permit, they still need to be able to go and harvest brown and tanner crab to the chart.
Thank you. Last year when we did this, I seem to recall that we passed it contingent on whatever action Fish and Game takes, so that we didn't come back together.
Yes, that was the case.
Was that messy?
It was not messy. No, it worked.
Is okay? I suggest we do it again, if that's okay.
I would agree.
Okay, so it would be, we would vote to adopt the recommendation to reduce the K29A, K49A, K69A permit fees by $225 if the red and blue doesn't open. But if it does open, then we adopt what we have in table. Does that sound right?
Yes. If it does open, the fees will be what they are in table 1. If it does not open, then it will be the table 2 fees.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Green,
Right.
do you care to modify the motion?
Yeah. I'll make the motion to amend my original motion to adopt the contingency should Fish and Game open or not open the fishery.
Okay, and I think it's probably pretty, as long as it's clear to Reed and Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Second that, and I'll just consider that friendly, so maybe we don't need to vote on it, just friendly. So with that,
Yeah.
any other questions or discussion?
No, I think just like last year, it's the right way to go.
Yeah. Right, and I did see the Medea out there the other day surveying, doing crab surveys, so hopefully they'll find a bunch of red and blue crabs. Great.
Fingers crossed. Call the question?
The question has been heard. It's been like rolled.
Okay, so we're not doing, the amendment is friendly, so we don't have to vote on that. So we're voting on the original
With the amendment.
With, yeah, the amendment.
with
Yeah,
the as amended.
yes.
Okay, so on the motion to adopt the recommendations for fees in the memo as amended with the contingency on Board of Fish action, Commissioner Haight?
Just a quick question. Jay would be fishing, just
Sure.
fishing games action, not board fishing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Yes.
No worries. This one's a little confusing. Yes, I think we're good.
Oh, okay, on fishing games action. Okay, then you are a yes,
Yes.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
that is passed.
Thanks. So yeah, that one is a little confusing, but no, it makes sense. Okay, Commissioner Green, how about a motion on 4F, new permit types?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt the select permit fees and the fee cap and in table 2 of the Yukon Arctic Lamprey participation and earnings in the memo.
Thank you. I'll second that. I think maybe table 1 is probably the focus. Table, okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, second that. Thank you.
Okay, so in 2024, CFEC commissioners voted to create 4 new permit types. These permits are for the Arctic Yukon lamprey fishery and for miscellaneous fin, pot gear, and saltwater for vessels that are under 35 feet in length. Last year, they voted to set the recommended fee to $75. There have not been any changes this year. No Arctic lamprey permits were purchased, but there was no fishing effort this year. There was no harvest effort. And this fishery is contingent upon a lot of things have to align. Like the run has to happen at the same time as the ice is breaking up in order for people to have an opportunity. There have been M9EB and M9EG permits purchased, which were the new permit types for miscellaneous finfish pod gear under 35. I believe 3 of them were purchased. However, we don't have any information for 2025 yet, obviously, so there's no new information there either. We do have earnings data for the Arctic Yukon lamprey fishery in the past. This is a fishery that's been going on since 2003. And people in this fishery are harvesting hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars worth of the resource. No participant is close to being near the $28,000 cutoff that they would have to hit in order to evaluate for the next highest fee class. So it's our recommendation that the fees for all 4 of these permits continue to be set at $75. And again, this is something that's going to have to happen at least for the next 3 years until we get data for these fisheries.
Thanks. Very clear. Commissioner Green, any questions or?
No questions on this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. There's small, nascent little fisheries. And, yeah. Great, thanks. Hear a question out there?
Call the question?
Question's been heard. Ms. Finley, roll call, please.
On the motion to adopt the fee caps in table 1 of the memo, Commissioner Haight
Yes, please.
and Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Okay, and that is passed.
Great, thanks for that, Ms. Finley. All right. Thanks for leading us through that. That was very helpful. I guess next we can move to 5. Discussion of forward memos. There's no action we need to take on this. You're just give us the goods. So please.
Okay, so every year, this memo is produced to show what the effect of the fee cap is, the fee cap ceiling on our projected revenue. Again, by regulation, fees are set capped at $3,000. This is known as the fee ceiling. Prior to 2005, the maximum fee was $300. In 2006, the Alaska legislature voted to increase this fee cap to $3,000, which was implemented over the course of 3 years, so that permit holders were not hit with this cost all at once. So it was incremented up to $3,000. Each year, this fee cap results in a lost revenue of around $1 million. And this year, the results are a decrease in revenue of $1.05 million. Figure 1 shows the yearly foregone revenue over time in that chart. Table 2 it shows the fee class estimated permit renewals and the calculated fees, in addition to the proportion of the calculated fee that is actually paid. We see that this ranges from paying 95% of the calculated regulatory fee to as little as 14% of the calculated regulatory fee. This means that proportionally, individuals in fee class 279 are only paying 14% of what other permit holders must pay when you're looking at what percentage of their earnings they have to pay for this permit. A few other things that need to be pointed out. The majority of the permits that are in the $3,000 fee class are trawl permits. I'm expecting out of the 278 permits that are purchased in this highest fee class, 205 of them are expected to be trawl permits. The foregone revenue from trawl permits alone is about $900,000. It should also be noted that the majority of the fee subsidy, which is what this is, it is a subsidy, is attributed to non-residents, and that even when accounting for residency, non-residents are receiving a subsidy disproportionate to their permit renewals. So non-residents purchase 84% of the permits in the highest fee class, and they receive 88% of the subsidy to the chair.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner Green, any thoughts on?
Yeah, no, I just want to make the comment that this, if I remember right, this was passed, this cap was passed 16 years ago. And I would like to still pay the price for an Egg McMuffin I paid 16 years ago. And it's been that way a long time. And I would not be opposed to seeing a revisit of this cap.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people are interested in it for sure. Well, you know, it's legislative matter, and I mean, I guess the governor could propose legislation on it. We could recommend. I think we were to submit our annual report. Didn't include that. Yeah, I mean, we get asked about it all the time. So I mean, they could be something to pursue. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, this final memorandum shows the inactive permit types that are in the base fee class, which is $75. These are permits that have not been issued over the last 3 years. We don't usually publish fees for these because they're not really active. Permits that have gross earnings, so past data that is available that results in a fee that evaluates to greater than $75 are published. There are 97 permits in the base fee class that have not been used in the last 3 years. So there's a lot of fisheries out there. Some of them just aren't very active to the chair.
Thank you. Thanks. This one caught my eye here. J97A, Gooey Duck Aquatic Diving. What's that? Is that with a snorkel?
I think so.
Yeah.
I never issued.
I'll have to look into that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's not important. But you know, in terms of the governor's more recent AOs here, where you can find maybe 15% of your regulatory productions, although these aren't in reg. Anyways, Commissioner Green, questions?
Yeah, no, I cannot imagine, just on your point, someone harvesting gooey ducks with just a snorkel, possibly a hoka setup, but sometimes the few times that I've got to harvest gooey ducks, sometimes it takes a long time underwater and a lot of upper body strength to get them out. But yeah, other than that, I have no comments on this.
Thank you. Yeah, you probably have to be the man from Lannis to hold your credit.
Yeah.
You guys remember that show? No.
Okay.
Okay.
We're dating ourselves.
Yeah, well, thank you. There was the per vessel permit cost was a 5B, but that would just be discussing what it is. I mean, it's in statute.
It is. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's in 1605, I think. Yeah, it's listed there. But no worries there. Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I just opened it up for everyone. Does anyone have any questions or comments or on any of the stuff? Great. Well, I think the task now, Suzanne, was that you have to get with IT and program this into the system at some point.
I just go in and do it but then I have to wait till they turn the system over.
Okay.
For 2026.
Yeah.
And then I can go in and enter the fee.
That'll be a ways from now, but we got it done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, Reed.
Thanks,
Yep.
Reed
Yeah,
and
well,
Sally.
All of your work in Sally. Yeah.
So I'll make the modifications to the table and send them to and Jake, and we'll send them to the whole management council.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you. Well, with that, Commissioner Green, anything else?
That's it for me. Motion to adjourn.
Motion accepted. Let's do it. Adjourn. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Nice job, everybody.
Thank you, Rick.
Everybody-
Sally, Jennifer, Danielle.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. I was through that.